Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for sure. And it's Let's Talk about the Resident Evil franchise as we know it. Similar to what we did with Silent Hill. We ain't here to list down all the facts and all the details and break it down into what game did this and what game did that. We're simply going to talk about Resident Evil from our perspective, because I think I can sum up our path like this. Here we are, side by side. Think Resident Evil was a straight line, yeah? And here we are like that. And then as we reached the mid-noughties, I think it kind of... And then around about here, you stop. And I kept going to where we are now. So we're going to start this off by me running down every single entry in the Resident Evil franchise to date. And we're also going to obviously talk not just about games here, but be talking about the film side of things, book side of things, and all of that. It's a let's talk about the Resident Evil franchise as a whole. But let me fly through the games, and basically what I want you to do is say whether or not you played them.
Yep.
1996, Resident Evil, of course.
Of course, yeah.
1998, Resident Evil 2.
Yep.
1999, Resident Evil 3.
Yep.
2000, Resident Evil Survivor.
Yep.
Yeah, we're exactly the same at the moment. 2000, Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Definitely.
Yes, but not till later. Not till a lot later for me. Not at the time, but later.
I think it was Dreamcast for me, I think it was.
Mine was its re-release on the Xbox 360. 2001, Resident Evil Survivor 2, Code Veronica.
Yep.
You played that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Resident Evil Gaiden.
No.
Game Boy Color. I've played this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Resident Evil Remake from 2002. GameCube.
Yes, of course.
Yes, same. And Resident Evil Zero, the same.
Yep.
Okay, this is a section where I just didn't play any. Resident Evil Dead Aim, Resident Evil Outbreak, and Resident Evil Outbreak File number 2.
No.
Same, none of them. But in 2005, Resident Evil 4.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course
Basically, if it's main timeline, 100% played. 2007, there wasn't a lot between 2005 and 2009. In 2007, we got Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles. Never played it.
No, I don't think so, no.
2009, Resident Evil 5, of course.
Yep.
Resident Evil, The Dark Side Chronicles.
Nope.
Nope. 2011, Resident Evil, The Mercenaries 3D. Weirdly, I did play this on Nintendo 3DS.
Nope, never played it.
Okay, and we hit some sections where in 2012, I played every Resident Evil. 3 Resident Evil games came out in 1 year. And they're all pretty...
No.
Resident Evil Revelations is first, which is the one with Jill sat on the boat. Yes, I've played it and I dig it.
No, I'm not too sure, but the name sounds familiar, but I can't confirm.
You would remember it. You play as Jill and you play as Barry in 2 different events. One set on a boat.
No.
Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, which is still one of the worst Resident Evil games ever released. Also, it was when Capcom lost their fucking minds. Gave us half a game and then tried to charge us an inflated price for the other half as DLC. They lost their fucking minds. Released one of the worst games. I have played this game. I have half the game completed because I refused to pay them, give them another ton of money for half another game. What a bunch of cunts.
Indeed.
And released that year. And yeah, I side with everyone when I say it's not a good game. Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
In an attempt to please everybody and go, well, listen, you didn't like the action of Resident Evil 5. So what we'll do is we'll do a horror part, an action part, and a stealth part. And all of them will suck. Thanks, Capcom.
I actually think, other than the remastering, I think this might be my last one I played.
Interesting. Because then we would get nothing till 2015 when Resident Evil Revelations 2 was released. And this is a hidden gem. One of those that people need to play, but because it was called Revelations 2, I think that put people off. Oh, I said Barry was Revelations 1. No, Barry is Revelations 2. It's Claire and Barry on the island. No, it's not. Who is it in Resident Evil 1? Revelations 1. It's Jill on the boat. And someone else. No,
Huh?
I can't remember. I can't remember. Okay, and this would start a little bit of a run briefly. We had Umbrella Corps, which in 2016, I think it's online only. I think it was an online game. I never played it.
No.
And then we would finally hit what was after, let's be honest, a really lackluster. I mean, we're talking all the way back to 2011, all the way back to 2009. There hadn't really been a great Resident Evil game since maybe Resident Evil 5, and even then, that's debatable. Some people really don't like it, even though
Yeah.
I do think it's a great game. And I think people are just getting stuck on certain things.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it online too. Because I'm pretty sure that we played it online together. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a tough completion if we're talking from like an achievement perspective, but I did
Yeah.
enjoy it as well. But in 2017, Capcom would go, it's time to go back to basics and re-look at Resident Evil in a way that shocked everybody. I remember when the first trailers came out and it was like, wait, it's first person. Why does it look like it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre with a family and a dinner? How is this Resident Evil? This is crazy. And I'm talking about Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which is still to date, in my opinion, one of the best Resident Evil games ever made. Yeah.
Yeah, can I just say about these new Resident Evil games? Now, I've had Seven and others on my wish list for ages. Drop the goddamn prices, please, because I want to play them, but I'm not paying 30, 40 quid for a goddamn game. Just drop it down to 20 quid. I'll pay 20, but for God's sake, you know.
It's really funny because you're right. You never really see these games on sale where you do see the Resident Evil 2 remake and the Resident Evil 3 remake on sale.
I know, literally, they're on Game Pass. Literally, two and one, two, and three, I think, are on Game Pass.
Maybe you'll get lucky with Requiem coming soon. Maybe they'll remember that Biohazard and Village exist. So let's
Mm.
lower those prices. I don't know. But yeah, in 2019, we'd get the Resident Evil 2 remake. And in 2020, the Resident Evil 3 remake. Both are excellent. Both I thoroughly enjoyed. I know the criticism leveled at Resident Evil 3, and I get it completely. It did remove a hell of a lot. But you know what? I still enjoyed the shit out of it.
Yeah, me too.
Resident Evil Resistance. There's one I don't know. I think it was online again.
Mm.
And then, of course, the much anticipated follow up to Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Village, which again, I remember those trailers. And it's like, fucking werewolves? How are werewolves? Why is there a big boobed giant vampire lady? What's going on in Resident Evil? And like everyone, Resident Evil Village, it all makes sense when you play it. Resident Evil Village is fucking excellent. Another excellent entry. Really, both those games and their unique position in Resident Evil and how they tie into the wider franchise. Because let's not forget, at the end of spoilers, at the end of Resident Evil 7, that's when Chris makes his appearance. And in Resident Evil Village, Chris is a major, major player. So it is
It
all
might
tie
be.
in.
It's on my wish list. Oh,
I get it. I get it. They are both excellent games. I know,
yeah.
like I said, trust me on that. They're great games. Resident Evil Reverse, which I believe was an attached game that came with Village, like an online thing as well, like a separate thing. I never played it.
Yeah.
2023 Resident Evil 4 remake. Probably one of the best remakes ever made.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
And then it's all been quiet. And it's all been quiet until this coming year when, as of the time recording, I think, what is it? Is it due in February? When is it due, actually? Let's check. I know it's coming very soon.
Mm.
February 27th. The next entry in the Resident Evil series, the main franchise, Resident Evil Requiem, which is not a sequel, so to speak. Like, it's not continuing. Like, Village ended that specific story based around the characters of Ethan, Winters, Maya, and all of that. But Requiem is tying into earlier Resident Evil games. From
Yeah.
what we gather is probably going to have heavy connotations more than we all realize because Capcom has, at the time recording, we say this, Capcom has found a way to stay very tight-lipped about its story and whether or not certain characters are included. I'm not entirely sure why people are going nuts about wanting all these old I guess it's nostalgia, as is always the case, because we've just done 2 Resident Evil games in a row that didn't really use any of those big hitters. Yet suddenly we're all demanding them back. And I know maybe it's because it's linking back to Raccoon City and things like that. But it's like, let's be serious here, guys. we like they found a way to balance the traditional Resident Evil stuff with new stuff. And off the trailer and the gameplay for Requiem, I'm quite excited by it. Are you?
I mean, I've seen images, and I've seen the police station like all broken down, which I think looks pretty cool. You know, I said, but going back to like the character wise, I mean, it makes no difference whether or not you get Leon or Chris or whoever. To be honest, as long as it's a decent Resident Evil game with horror, story, puzzles, then
And a good character. It can be a
yeah,
good
yeah, yeah,
character.
yeah,
Let
exactly,
me
yeah.
remind people Resident Evil 7 introduced us to a man called Ethan Winters, who'd never even played before. And by the end of Village, let's be honest, we all fucking love Ethan. So let's not pretend they can't let them create new characters. Like the joke is, how old? How old is like? I know the jokes have been online about it, but like fucking Leon with a walk. Come on, man, what are we doing here?
I'm saying, like, did you not think like that maybe it's time they kill some of these characters off?
I think it could be a ballsy move, right? A ballsy
Mhm.
move to, or just, move on from them. Even if you don't want to actually kill them, just move forward, you know?
Yeah, because you got to think that I mean Leon was a rookie in number two, so if he's a rookie, how old is Chris? Chris has got to be in his 60s at
Oh
least.
yeah, it depends on its setting as well, but yeah. We'll get a little bit more into the games, but now I want to pivot to the films. Let's talk some films, the Resident Evil franchise as a film, because it's had quite a few entries as well. And we're going to quickly tell you the film, when it came out, and give you a brief summation, because we've done individual videos on all of these films, barring the upcoming one in the future. Which that film is called Resident Evil, and will be released on September 18th, 2026, apparently. I am unconvinced because since we did our Silent Hill video, we did a Silent Hill video, and then a week later they dropped the Return to Silent Hill trailer. And oh my fucking god, I know what I just said about Silent Hill, but fucking hell, we referenced Resident Evil. Oh my god. I don't know if they could have done a worse trailer. I was like, this film looks shit. And all I keep thinking is this. This is where they get, I'm going to say it now. You get no free pass because you are telling us this is a remake of Silent Hill 2. You have to do it properly then. You
Mm.
don't get a free pass of being your own idea. You are plastering across it from the visionary minds that brought you Silent Hill 2, based on Silent Hill 2. Oh my god, it's going to fucking suck. It's going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
Anyway, but these shots are, there's not enough information about this Resident Evil film to warrant much of an opinion outside of it's gonna suck because they all fucking suck.
I mean, I've got to say that the director, the cast, and the studios who are paying for this, they've got to be very ballsy to do this after watching how many. I'm going to say failures, but I know the Mila Djokovic ones. They made a lot of money, but did they make enough money basically for them?
Well,
And
they
obviously,
eventually stopped, didn't it? That's the point. They stopped
yeah,
making
yeah.
enough money.
Mm,
The director for the new one is Zachary Michael Kreger, who did horror films Barbarian and Weapons in 2025. I think the guy's got some chops, but the problem with Resident Evil is it comes with expectation. And it's a unique expectation. And this one, again, seems to be going, oh, well, what we're going to focus on is the Raccoon City stuff. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
but then isn't that just a zombie film set in a city then?
yeah.
And then we're just throwing in BOW. And I'm not convinced. I automatically have a dull view on it based off what I've heard and what I've seen. I have no idea really, I'll have to basically, let's wait and see till we get a trailer, really.
Yeah,
Okay, so Resident Evil was released in 2002. Can you believe that? That makes that film 23 years old.
mad.
I think time is making this film look better. I think the longer it goes and the worse the franchise gets, as in department, Resident Evil from 2002 looks better. At the time, I thought it was brilliant because God Almighty, I just was so desperate for Resident Evil, and I think they did a good enough job to take elements of the game, put it into its own world, create a star in Mila Jovovich, although we wouldn't know how big that character would become at the time or how mad the films would get. And it was horror. It had zombies. It had a liquor. I still think a lot of the elements hold up. How it looks, some of the scenes. I mean, the laser grid hallway scene still kicks ass. Like it still
Yeah, yeah,
kicks
well,
out, you know? Although I still argue they did Kaplan well dirty in that film.
yeah.
But I don't know. I
Yeah,
still think it holds up. I still like it.
yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone would argue that the first film is the best in the series. You know, in my opinion. You know, and yeah, I think it's actually a pretty decent film compared to the later ones. I think it's a decent film. You know, said good actors, good visual effects. You know, and effectively it gave what everyone wanted. You know, the whole sort of mansion sort of thing. And yeah, I enjoyed it. So
Resident Evil Apocalypse in 2004. I remember that ending Resident Evil, and she's standing in Raccoon City, and the camera zooms out, and it was just like, oh my god, they're gonna do Raccoon City next. And then we got Resident Evil Apocalypse, and it still makes me angry. Oh my god. What on earth made them think, yeah, what we'll do is we'll combine some parts of Resident Evil 2, but not really much of Resident Evil 2, focus solely on Resident Evil 3, and just fuck it up to this, like, to such a degree. Honestly, I may never get over the sight of Mila Jovovich's Alice fist fighting the Nemesis. I mean, even
you
now when I
mean
say it, I'm just like,
you mean that's not worse than her running down the building and
oh, the
shooting
fucking fuck!
him?
I forgot about that. Oh god, that film is
Yeah.
outrageous.
Or the nemesis remembering who she is and then turning good.
Mm.
So, I know, just
Oh, and then the character
yeah,
of Carlos is so bad in this film. And the
yeah,
joke was, in 3 years later, in 2007, they would use those characters in such a better way with Resident Evil Extinction, which
yeah.
I consider to be one of the stronger entries in the franchise. Yes, it's not the best looking film in that it basically goes, well, we're just going to do it all in desert, when it act like that's how the entire world is. But here, it really took things back to basics. It's focused on zombies, the laboratory aspects. It
Mm.
introduced characters that would become long-term stays, like Dr. Isaacs, played by, oh, what's the actor's name? Oh, I don't want to forget his name. He's such a
Yeah,
great. Oh, I'm gonna find it because he deserves to be mentioned.
yeah.
Ian Glenn. Ian
Yeah, in
Glenn.
Game of Thrones. Yeah,
Yeah, just great ones like that. Odin Ferrer as Carlos is great in it. It had some great set pieces with the crows. That scene is fucking great. The driving the tanker into the zombies at the end. The
yeah.
fight with the tyrant at the end and ending in the laser corridor. Like, all of this. I think this is a good fucking film. Okay, it has got its problems. But it also, like, like, I think it's got a lot of unnecessary secondary characters. There's an argument
Mm.
to say that Claire doesn't really need to be used here, but I like Ali Lara, and I think she does a good Claire.
Yeah.
I like Resident Evil You know what? I think Extinction might be the best one. I think it might be.
It is. I mean, it is a very good film. I don't like the setting in the desert. It looks really green screen. Yeah, pop really badly. You
Yeah,
know.
when they get to Vegas at the end, the Vegas that's
Oh yeah,
buried, it does feel very set like.
yeah. I mean, I always loved the crows attacking the vehicles, which I think is excellent. Apart from when Alice uses crazy mind powers. I don't know what you want to call them. I don't know.
Oh, this is the first introduction of that stuff. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
It has, like I said, it's got its problems.
yeah,
But they had not discovered a thing yet that it would bring into the next one that would become the bane of our existence in this film
yep.
series. Up next, in 2010, Resident Evil Afterlife. Damon, without looking it up, tell me what Afterlife's about. Right?
I'm trying to
Right?
think. Is this the one where they have the thing in their chest, like, and
Kind
shield
of, but
themselves?
no, like I want you to kind of focus on where's it set? Where does the majority take place? You don't remember,
Is
do
it?
you?
Is this the one on a boat?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
do you know what? I don't know.
I've had to look it up as well. That's the
Yeah.
problem as well. Now, it will all start to make sense. It begins with Alice and her clones attacking the Umbrella HQ in Tokyo. Remember, that's how they kill off all the clones, bar one. She does run into Claire with the spider device on her chest in Alaska. And from there, they end up going to the ruins of Los Angeles, where the prison is. The one set in the
Oh.
prison. And then eventually they have to leave the prison to go to Arcadia, which is the fucking boat, which is where
You
we'll
mean the
get
one?
to in the next one.
the one with the terrible actor who plays Chris.
Yes,
So
Wentworth Miller, who
yeah,
actually is a good actor because Prison
yeah,
Break and all of that. Let's be
yeah.
serious here. But my God, what a dog shit Chris. So bad that they would remove him completely in the future.
Yeah.
Um, I remember. What do you remember about Afterlife? Aside from crappy ass Chris, I remember one thing. And it was the introduction of slow motion 3D effects and the water fight with the guy with the big axe.
Oh, Pyramid Head.
Well, the one from Resident Evil 5, the one with
Yeah.
the big axe and the shower scene, and it's all slow motion.
Is that the one where that they somehow land a helicopter on the roof of a building
No,
and the
not a
building's like,
helicopter, not a helicopter, because a
oh,
helicopter could land. It's
yeah, so the
a
the
biplane, a
water,
biplane,
yeah,
a
the biplane,
biplane. Yeah, yeah.
the impossible landing somehow, but it still lands on that bloody thing. Yeah.
Okay, what we have next? We had Retribution. Damon, tell me about Retribution.
Now, this
2012.
has got to be the one on the boat.
Except there isn't one in the boat because you forget that it starts. They go to the boat and then they immediately get assaulted by umbrella agents, and then she gets knocked into the water and wakes up. Now, do you remember?
Uh, nope,
Nope.
no.
So she wakes up in suburbia. This is the one with all the different like clones, different variations on characters, bringing back people like Rain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep. And then also the actual Alice wakes up in that underwater facility because this one introduces, if I'm correct, this introduces Ada, Leon, this one.
Okay, yep.
Do you remember anything else about it?
I remember Barry with his cigarette and then getting blown away
Yeah.
toward the end. But
This has some good action sequences thanks to some new locations. By doing this whole clone thing in different environments, it actually gave us some cool sequences. And it was nice to have
mm,
people like Rain back as a character, plus an
mm.
actor as well, even if it was a bit of a unique sort of thing. But the fact that you're struggling to remember these is really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the actress who plays Rain, I can't remember I can't remember her name, but she's been in quite a lot of things. I quite
Oh,
like
yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah.
She was in Lost and all that and stuff like that. You know, she
Yeah, it's
was.
Michelle Rodriguez. It's Michelle
Yeah,
Rodriguez.
that's it. Yeah, that's her name. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, Faust and the Furious, Michelle Rodriguez. I mean, don't get me wrong, Michelle Rodriguez plays herself, or a similar character, so to speak, which is I'm a
yeah,
badass a lot of the time, but I dig her. I think she's cool. And that
yeah.
brings us to Resident Evil, the final chapter in 2012. Sorry, 2017. What happened here, Damon?
I can only remember a scene which I think is at the end of the film where like she walks into a room and there's like loads of old people. I think I was an old person in a wheelchair on that. I
Okay.
don't know. Or,
I mean, that's fair enough. It ends back at the Hive, and it's all about Ian Glenn and the big train and the
mm,
assault on the Hive, and they've got to go there to. Otherwise, the thing is going to kill everybody, and maybe Alice will die at the end, but instead it just removes her T-virus powers and she lives.
mm,
Nope.
no,
All the
no,
different versions of Ian Glenn. Nope.
no,
This is
nope.
bad, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that this is a problem in itself, I think we've forgotten certain things. Like you forget in Afterlife, you've forgotten about the fight with Wesker. The Wesker fight with the throwing the sunglasses and Chris and Claire and Alice against Wesker in a big white room.
I remember he's in the film, but I don't even.
Do you know? Remember at the end of Resident Evil final chapter how they kill off Wesker? A lift falls on him. A lift falls on him.
Oh,
It makes him
was
look
it,
like a right idiot.
didn't but he like his chopper blow up or something, like helicopter
No,
blow up, and
no,
then he
no,
no. Oh,
no. A lift
oh, geez.
falls on him. And it's really embarrassing. It's
Mm.
like, what? This crappy character's out now. Thanks for that. Bye.
I've got to go back and rewatch these films. Clearly, it's been a long time.
Do
So
you though? Do you?
no. I mean, if I see it on, I might give it a watch again, but I won't purposely go make my way and go watch it.
And that brings us to the last one, which is 2021's worst Resident Evil film in the franchise, as far as, and even I still think it's worse than things like Apocalypse, because at least I can laugh about how bad Apocalypse is. Welcome to Raccoon City. I just don't even fucking get this. I still don't get this. It's like, okay, I'm going to give gamers what they want. Don't give gamers what they want. Gamers don't know what they want. Gamers want Resident Evil. Oh, just do Resident Evil. What? Walking around a fucking mansion solving puzzles. Be serious. So what they go is they know they can't do that. It's like, I'll give gamers what they want, and we'll just throw in every character from every game and just use so many different elements from it. So you won't remember anybody. We'll make non-stop references. We'll make it so that nobody casual wants to watch it because it's only for gamers. Yet gamers are just going to be pissed off watching their characters butchered and given no time. Oh, there's Jill. Oh, look, she made a Jill sandwich joke. Oh, what? Is she in the film again? No, what are you fucking film? But also, let's then take iconic characters that you know and make them into nothing what they're supposed. What are you even making here? I don't care if you want to have an original idea of Leon. Why did you do that? Especially as you were doing Resident Evil 2. If you were doing Resident Evil 2, you can't then go, yeah, but this character's also nothing like the actual character. That doesn't even make any sense. Fucking hell.
I still remember me, you, Brandon, and Liam going to see this in the fucking cinema.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Honestly, I still staggered. And I know people are like, oh, it's not that bad. I fucking hate it. I've watched it once more since we did it for the movie series, and I still find it outrageously dumb. So bad. It's just like, what are you? Honestly, it's just confused. What do you even want to be? I don't want them to make Resident Evil, the game, into a film. I don't think it's going to fucking work. I think you can't even combine several. I just want a good Resident Evil film that uses elements from it. That's it. That's all you have to do.
I mean, I think the reality is like, and what people need to understand is that there are certain games which are impossible to make into a film, and I think Resident Evil is so difficult. I think it'd be better as a TV series, and I know we have watched a few TV series of it, and it's been okay, but I just think that it's impossible. That it's a those sort of games there. You spend too much in that game, walking around and going through doors and stuff like that, and it's too hard to get a full story into that. You know, so I don't know.
So it should be noted, we've had a TV series, live action TV series, one season that was cancelled on Netflix, where they really, really thought, let's do something different here, using characters and ideas from it. I enjoyed aspects of it, but I
Yeah.
recognize it was too much of a risk and there was too
Mhm.
many mistakes made. It also had some very unlikable leads, which is a major problem in itself. So I recognize that. But we've had so much extra in this franchise as well, from the animated films, which are often some of the stronger stuff, as well as books and so on. What I wanted to look at was here's right briefly, film wise, here's money made. I'm going to give you a quick brief overview, yeah? Right, so the original Resident Evil, 33 million budget, over 100 million earned worldwide. Apocalypse, 45 million budget, 130 million worldwide. Right? 45 million for Extinction, so each time, well, that was the same, that made 150 million. Afterlife, 60 million budget, 300 million worldwide.
You know, man.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you can see now the downturn here to a degree, right? Because then we had £65 million budget, but worldwide, Retribution only did 240, which is still insane. That's like
Yeah.
almost 4 times its budget, but 60 million less than the last film, and it cost more.
Yeah.
And you can see probably what the panic was. So, Final Chapter was a lower budget of 40 million, but then did 314 million. This film was made fucking money, made bank,
Yeah.
man. Really did. It generally makes you wonder why they stopped making them, because
It does
these
actually.
made
Yeah.
money.
It does actually. Yeah, and you can understand why people keep going back to this franchise, despite it probably being, I don't know, milked film wise and TV series wise but it's going to make money because the fans of the games are so desperate for something game like.
And part of the reason I think it was so successful as well is that the casual audience got it.
Mm,
Casual audiences were going to see them. It's a popcorn Resident Evil film. Popcorn watch. You unchain your brain. You ain't got to worry about not playing the games. You don't need to know about that shit.
mm.
Which is why Welcome to Raccoon City had a budget. I wanted you to guess. Budget of 25 million. It made profit. How much though do you think? So 25 million was its budget. Worldwide
I'm,
budget profit.
I'm gonna go big because I think people were anticipating this point. So I'm gonna say 350.
What? Holy shit, dude!
Is
Not
that
even. Fucking hell. It made 41. It
41,
didn't
is that
even
it?
it didn't even make
Oh my
its
God.
double its budget back.
Wow.
So you can see from a studio perspective, it's like, well, that wasn't fucking worth it. It didn't lose money, thankfully,
Yeah.
but do you know what I mean? It did not make fucking money.
But then I suppose you can say that the fan spoke, I guess.
Well, no, I think the fans. I think the fans went. I think fans went to see it. I stand by that. What happened was nobody else went to see it, and that's who you
Mm.
needed to see it. You can't make films for gamers. I'm telling you over and over again. You
Yeah.
can't make films for gamers.
Do you think, and this is me throwing out there, that the reason why the Mila Djokovic franchise made so much money was
Yes.
because of the zombie aspect was also at around the period when The Walking Dead had just come on TV too. So
No, you're too
no,
early. I'm afraid. No, you're way too early. I think it was coming to
Mm.
an end, and by that point, Resident Evil had gone so far away from zombies. No, I don't think it was that. I think everybody clocked that it was just popcorn flicks. Unchain your
Mm.
brain, get some mates around, and watch a silly action film that wouldn't offend anybody. Might have some like horror, but mostly had me. That's what it was. It was a throwaway. It's like It was like a Saw movie every year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But on the animated side of things, I'm just going to run them down. Basically, which ones you've seen and which ones you haven't. So, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. That's the animated
no.
series. We covered that. No, you did. We covered it, dude. You've forgotten it. It was a
Oh God,
four-part animated series, 4 episodes. It was quite good,
God,
set between Resident Evil 4 and 5. You've forgotten it.
bloody hell. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
clearly, yeah, yeah.
What about 2012's Resident Evil Damnation?
Damnation.
Yeah, we've done that one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Degeneration, the first one. That was the airport one.
I don't think so.
Yep, we've done it. Oh my god,
Really?
dude.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, really? Jesus Christ.
Vendetta. I don't think we've done Vendetta or Death Island.
No, no, Vendetta, I do remember. I have seen that one because I
Okay.
actually quite enjoyed that one. Yeah.
I think Death Island is the most up to date one.
Flipping
But
hell,
I've not
seriously.
seen it.
Those ones you said previously, I cannot think of any of it. And
Right, do you
oh
remember
God,
recently doing Biohazard 4D Executor? Yeah, you remember that one?
oh God.
Yeah, we did. Oh mate, it was like a very short 20-minute, like old one from like 2000,
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
the
Before,
shape
yeah.
shifting one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I was actually I was quite enjoyable. That was actually.
and apparently there's one called Biohazard 4 Incubate, but I don't know anything about that one. That's pretty much in the film department, I think. There's probably stuff we're missing. Um, but what else, like from the Resident Evil oh, the books, obviously. We've got to talk about the books. Obviously, there's been novelizations of the games, but more
Yeah,
famously, we have the S.D. Perry stories that initially were kind of like treated as some sort of canon, as she was kind of writing the books. Is it she? Is S.D. Perry a
yeah.
she? Yeah,
I presume so. Yeah.
presume. Oh, I've got to look now.
Yeah,
Um,
but I
I'm
presume so.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yep, SD Perry. Yep. Um, yes. Okay. Yes. All right. That's Stephanie. Stephanie. Yep. That's right. That's cool. Um, yeah, SD Perry. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Like novelizations of the games, but in short form, with one or two original stories sort of thrown in. These are very easy to read, enjoyable to some degree, but basically have been now completely thrown out as anything canon.
yeah. I mean, I've read all her books on the Resident Evil side, and I really enjoyed literally all the books, and they are quite very similar to the game. But then again, you do have there is the one or two which are completely away from it.
Yeah. I'm trying to they're down here. I'm just trying to get one. So they kind of look like that. That's volume 7 with
Yeah,
Zero Hour, which is Resident Evil Zero, obviously.
yeah. I've got all mine in the corner, but it's like most of them follow the games to a certain extent. But then she
Mm.
had like one or two in between.
Caliban
Like
Cove was one.
yeah, so
Let me
that
see
one
if I can
was
get them.
excellent.
They're down here. Because this is This is what I
Yeah,
have. Right.
yeah.
Okay.
I probably I've got two of mine at the moment, but I've got most of them. I've got obviously Calvin Cove,
Hmm.
and then I've got obviously the first one, which is obviously based on the first game. So
Yeah. Umbrella Conspiracy, Caliban
yeah,
Cove. Also have City of the Dead, which is
yeah.
Resident Evil 2. Uh, Underworld. Is that feels like
I think that was good. That was based on like
that's
number
a
three and four.
standalone
I think.
one.
Yeah,
No, it might be, yeah, okay. Because then I've got, well, I'm missing five. So I'm missing five because it goes six next for Code Veronica, seven for Zero Hour.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
five?
Number five is the Nemesis.
Oh, so five's Resident Evil 3. So that makes, I think Underworld's a standalone story then.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
look,
So
if you read the back, yeah, it's something a bit different. Okay. But I don't mind those books. I don't mind them. I got no beef with SD Perry.
I mean, I said I've read them all, and my favourite one is actually the standalone one, the Calvin Clove one, because obviously that's obviously Rebecca.
You want
Um,
to start again?
Cal
Calvin Cove. What the fuck is Calvin Cove? Caliban.
Caliban Cove, sorry.
Yes,
Okay, yeah,
Damon's thinking about Back to
okay.
the Future. Calvin
Good
Klein
enough.
underpants.
Yeah, as Rebecca Chambers standalone film, which I really enjoyed that one.
Book, not film.
Sorry, book. Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
really enjoyed
I'm
that one.
just
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I'm not look around. Have I got anything else? Because I've got lots of models and stuff of that related to Resident Evil.
Mm.
Um, I've got these very cool little like T virus film jars. I
Ah,
got
that's
the
cool.
T
Yeah,
virus and the G virus.
oh, that's cool.
Um,
I've got a umbrella coat.
okay, I've got
Yeah, yeah.
him.
Literally. Ah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few others down here, bits and bobs, but I'm trying to see
Mm.
if there's anything I can just grab. It's like, no, I hit the microphone there. No, no, but yeah, like there's so much to cover that I want to bring us focus basically back to the games really more than anything. I think we've talked enough about the books and the films and given you our opinions on that anyway. We'll come back to the games really before this gets too long. I'm really so much of this, right? Well, this is what I kind of find quite funny. Is so much of this is going to be part based in nostalgia, mostly for you, because ultimately you're so far behind in the main
Mm.
franchise series that it's like, well, it's difficult to talk about Resident Evil in a modern sense for you, really. I mean, the
Yeah.
last Resident Evil, aside from the remakes, the last new Resident Evil game you played, like in the main franchise, was six, right?
Six. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus, that's a bad way to end.
It is. Yeah. I mean,
Do
obviously,
you?
I got the enjoyable of the remaster of games.
Yeah, yeah, because ultimately you can count two, three, and four then as being games you played since then. But are you likely, do you think, to pick up Resident Evil Requiem before Seven and Village?
No, I don't think I would. You know,
Really?
so
Okay.
because I would because I know they're obviously not going to be fully linked, but I would like to play. I'm pretty sure I played it briefly because I played it at yours once. I only like the first like 10, 15 minutes, I think it was
Oh,
of
Village.
it
I think I made you
might
play
have been
Village,
Village.
didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Village. Yeah, so I got a little bit obviously experience of there, and obviously I do want to play those ones, and I know there's. Well, I'm probably going to say rumors, but I know Code Veronica is being remastered or something like that. Apparently,
There's
so
not this no there's nothing official in that. Don't buy until
no,
you hear otherwise. Don't buy into it. They are not going to, folks. They are promoting and wanting to sell Resident Evil Requiem. If
mm,
Code Veronica's coming, you're not going to hear about that for at least 6 months to a year, I would say. But if it
yeah,
is coming, because ultimately, what the hell would you? Well, you're trying to sell Resident Evil Requiem. You know, nobody's. I know what people, and I don't. I'm not going to say they're not going to do it. I'm not going to say that. But I just don't think it's as likely as people think.
I mean it's the one that people talk about obviously the least, but
Well,
obviously it's the
yeah,
only one. It's the only one that hasn't been done. So you presume they would do it at some point, or maybe not. I don't know.
maybe. I'm not saying no, they won't do it. I think they probably will. But for now, they're focused on Requiem, and I want them to focus on the new game. I think we talked about this in Silent Hill one. I'm going to mention it here in Resident Evil as well. Please don't make this all about nostalgia. Please don't. What next? What next? What? How many? Like, and then it's like, okay, let's remake the remake and stuff like that. What are we
Yeah.
doing here? Like, okay, we get another version of Resident Evil done. And it's like, oh, why? We have the remake. I know it's old, but like it was remastered and re-released a few years ago, and it still holds up, the original Resident Evil. And so they did
Yeah.
Code Veronica. Then what?
I mean,
Survivor?
I, I don't mind them. I don't mind them doing a remastering because obviously with today's graphics, obviously they can obviously do a major improvement. But I don't agree with like saying another 5 years time to go, let's go back and remaster the first one again, the second one again, because then you're just trying to milk the
Please, people.
fans.
Yeah, of course you are. But then
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
any remake and remastering is to some degree. Do you know what I mean? It's milking nostalgia, and Resident Evil is guilty of it as well. Except for one thing, I do heavily praise that each time it's mostly been remakes. The Resident Evil
Yeah.
remastered, the original, was a mastering of a remake that was done with love and care back in 2002. I
Hmm.
consider that Resident Evil remake to be the best version of Resident Evil. As much as I get very nostalgic over the original PlayStation 1 Sega Saturn version of Resident Evil, it's that remake. It is that
Yeah,
remake, absolutely. And I admire and love the fact that what they did with Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4 is rebuild the games. Go basically, what did our vision now with what we can do with games and engines and graphics and the Resident Evil engine, the RE engine they're using these days is a powerful beast. It's resulted in great games that stand separate to the originals as well.
hmm,
Like you don't like what they did with the Resident Evil 3 remake, Resident Evil 3 still exists.
yeah,
Same with Resident Evil 2 and all of that. Because that's where we come from. We both come from that era. Similar to Silent Hill, except with Silent Hill, it ended very quickly with just one game on a PlayStation.
yeah.
We got several on the
Several here.
PlayStation 1 alone, and then variations that were released on other consoles. So I would say, if I remember correctly, one, two, three, what else is Survivor
Survivor, yeah.
were PlayStation 1 games we played.
Yep,
100%. But we also would have played, and if you remember, Resident Evil on the Sega Saturn, which had a
yep.
different look and feel, if you remember. In fact, when you watch playthroughs of the Sega Saturn, God, the Sega Saturn sucked. you know? But alongside that, don't forget Resident Evil Director's Cut, which had a
Yeah.
unique angle as well. Then I remember playing Resident Evil 2 on the Nintendo 64. People forget that got released on the Nintendo 64, Resident Evil 2.
When did I play it? I've, I've got it on the N64. I've got it in a box, and it cost a hell of a lot of money to buy it. But I'm pretty sure I played Resident Evil 2. It would have been on a PS1
Oh
originally
yeah, definitely.
before.
It was the PS1 first, but it
Yeah,
definitely got
yeah,
released on that. Obviously, the Dreamcast had Code Veronica, but that came at a
yeah.
time where I wasn't playing games, and we carried on to the GameCube. The GameCube, I would argue, there's two specific points, three specific points in my Resident Evil world. No, it's four. Damn, it's four. It's actually four. Starts on the PlayStation 1. The
Mhm.
collection that was on the PlayStation 1. Then we jump to the GameCube. That's point two, where I got the Resident Evil remake. Resident Evil 2 was released on that as well. And we got Resident Evil 0 and 4. Those are two significant markers for me.
Yep,
Then we had the Xbox 360 run of games, which was Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, as well as the side ones like Raccoon City, which were Welcome to Raccoon City, not Welcome to Raccoon City. What was it called? Oh, Raccoon. That shitty game where you're teams of people and they tried Operation Raccoon City, whatever
oh
that one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's the other significant point. And the last, fourth one is the modern day stuff. Resident Evil 7, 7, Village, and that's where we're at. So I've had four phases of Resident Evil where they've been released on one sort of section of time, maybe one console that have been significantly important. And I think that's really lucky because most of the
Mhm.
time, particularly when we're looking at nostalgia, we tend to get stuck on just one period of time. Like it should just be, oh, mate, do you remember how great Resident Evil was with those runner games? 1, 2, 3, Survivor, Director's Cut. Oh, PlayStation was brilliant. But no, I get to also go, nah, the shit on the GameCube was excellent. All right,
Yeah.
the 5 and 6 and all of that stuff wasn't great on the 360, but it's still significant. And then I'll also get to look at the modern day and be like, fucking love Village, love Resident Evil 7, and really looking forward to Requiem. Like, that's really fucking lucky, I think.
Well, it's got to be probably one of the longest standing series in games, really.
for games played, like consistency as well. The
Yeah,
fact that
yeah.
I would have been, what age would I have been when Resident Evil first came our way? So it was released in what, 96? I reckon we might not
Yeah,
have got
well,
around to
six.
it. But I'm sure Brendan had it on the Saturn. I'm sure Brendan had it on the Saturn. So if that's
Yeah,
the case, we probably played it at a very young age. So maybe for me, 12, 13 years old, which would make a couple of
yeah.
you were a few years younger.
It was definitely a Saturn because we didn't have obviously many games at the time. I think we had Command and Conquer, Resident Evil, and I think it might have been Guardian Heroes on the Saturn.
Clockwork
And
Night, Clockwork
I was
Night.
fucking like, yeah, and the Horde. I
Yep,
think.
yep,
Yeah, so I think that was like, and obviously Sega Rally. I think they
of
were the ones
course.
we had. Those 5 or 6 base games, and then I think you were the first one who got a PlayStation. I think because
Maybe.
you
And
got it from Samantha's mother. I think at a time. I think so.
this is someone we knew once upon a time whose mother used to chip PlayStations and sell us dodgy games. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
really absolutely fucking appreciate the what was it, like £6 or £7 for a full game. Thanks to that, I
yeah.
played the likes of Metal Gear Solid and all of that. I could never have afforded this shit. Never, you know?
Do you remember? And this is going back a long time ago, but when we used to live on Plumstead Common, that we actually rented Resident Evil games out from that
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
down by the swing park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's an area, yeah. Sometimes when I go past in the car, I remember, man, I love that. I love that little rental shop. We are
yeah,
of that age where you could rent games, people. Bring it back
yeah,
for the
crazy.
weekend. And we're not talking Blockbuster. This was a mom and pop's independent shop kind of thing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, crazy, yeah, crazy.
When you well let's focus on the nostalgia side of things, specifically the PlayStation 1, really. I think. When you think back, what like can you even remember? I don't remember what it would have felt like the first time playing Resident Evil. I'd imagine I was confused as fuck.
I mean, from the opening cinematic straight away, it would have hooked a child of like 10 to 14, I think, straight away
Mm.
with the zombies and like screaming and dogs and shooting, and then it's crazy, you know. So I can imagine us struggling, and
Yeah.
where you can complete a Resident Evil game now in about 2 hours, probably quite comfortably. I can imagine us spending probably hours in like just like the first couple of floors in the
Yeah,
mansion.
lost, confused,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
understanding
yeah.
puzzles, dying a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
100%. Here's the
yeah,
thing, it's very hard to look back at that without it being colored by modern day things. I know that mansion, like like I know it off by heart. I know
yeah,
exactly what, that's how often I've been in that mansion. Do you know what I mean? Like that specific first game mansion is burned into my brain. Um,
yeah,
but like ultimately it's one of those where it's like, as much as I have love for the original game, I do buy into the fact that Resident Evil 2 is the best one.
yeah. Well, obviously, people would say four, wouldn't they? That's what people would say. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
Resident Evil 2 is the one which really kickstarted. I think, I mean, one was fantastic, of course it was, but two was the one which opened up the world. The different side stories. Complete Leon's story one. You get Leon's story two opened and stuff like and
We say sequels, the three B's are sequels, which is bigger, bolder, better. This is it. It's bigger,
yeah,
bolder, better. It was a bigger world, a wide out of a mansion into a city and all these different locations. It was bolder, it had more characters, had more violence, a bigger story. And it was better overall from a gameplay perspective. It was not as challenging, but it was still
mm,
rewarding with all its different things it was doing. It, as you said, had A and B side stories with different endings. This was how you made a sequel. It generally is, I still think, one of the best games ever made.
yeah. And I don't know about you, but I always kind of preferred Leon to Chris and Jill. I don't know why. So I mean, maybe not.
They had more
Obviously,
personality.
yeah. Obviously, Leon as a Rocky in number two, and obviously then his development from two to four. So
Yeah, I mean, what it was, I think, appealed is by that point we'd actually had they had money now, Capcom, so they had good voice actors. Remember, we went in Resident Evil seeing this weird opening cinematic, which used live action actors to then having these poorly voiced characters. And yeah, we can all laugh and joke about them now, but let's not pretend those are good. And those don't give those characters life. They
Yeah.
diminished those characters. So it wouldn't really be till later that those characters started to get more life, really more than anything else. Resident Evil 2, they start with life. You have Leon, you have this defined character. You have Claire. These are defined characters with good voice actors.
Mm.
And they've got stories. Whereas it always felt like the story of like Resident Evil 1 was more what was going on around Jill
Yeah.
and Chris. Leon and Claire are actively involved in the story with the side characters of Ada and Sherry Birkin and things like that. Like, I think that's what it is. I think they're just more compelling.
Well, yeah, of course, but I do think that two would always be a standout one, even if more two, because obviously when you played the first one, you don't really know really too much of the story and the
No,
backstory. Obviously, you learn it as you go on. You obviously read
well, I
things,
don't know
but then obviously,
how much of a story they had planned out. Like, it would get confusing
yeah.
later on, you know?
Mm. And then obviously for number two, you obviously then you played. Obviously, I presume you played number one before you played number two, and I
I
obviously
would think so, yeah.
your game players. Then obviously you know a bit more of the story. But obviously, I know it's a different area, but then obviously you prepare yourself more for the virus and stuff like
I mean, number two as well. Like, oh, number one does atmosphere really well. That mansion, the empty field, the music, and all stuff like that. But number
Mhm.
two nails it. That opening section where you have to move through what are very linear sections. You really only go from A to B, but the
Yeah,
atmosphere of the city, the moans and in the distance, the music, all of that leading to the police station is one of the most iconic opening sections of a game. I absolutely,
yep,
it's brilliant.
yep. The amount of times I've seen that poor shopkeeper get eaten alive because
Ah,
he's an
poor
idiot.
Kendo. Although the remake did him good, man. The remake did
Yeah,
that guy good. Well done.
yeah.
Um, right, let's change tactic, right? So what we're gonna do is focusing on those first two games because they are probably the most important. I want you to tell me the best thing, one thing about Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 that you think's just like why it's iconic, but also one thing about both that's actually bad.
I
So I'll
mean,
start with Resident
yeah.
Evil 1. A bad one for Resident Evil 1, it's really easy to forget. Some of the bosses absolutely suck, like Plant 42. That is a sucky boss that really, really makes the game, for me, go off a bit of a deep end moment. And if you play as Chris, it's downright frustrating because it means you got to do V-Jolt shit.
Mhm.
And V-Jolt shit was annoying as hell.
Yeah, the mixing stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh, I could probably do a two for the first one, I think. Yeah, two for the first one, and one's going to be obvious. One, it's obviously the voice acting. The voice acting was
What on a
always
bad, what are you doing? A good or bad one here?
no bad, no bad.
Yeah.
I can always remember a specific one when you find a snake and then you kill it and it puts a hole in the floor, and it's like I can use the rope to go down the hole. Yes, you can use the rope to go down the hole. It's just like saying something stupid that it was
It's
along
worse
the
than
line
that.
there.
It's worse than that as well. The cutscene starts the moment the snake's been killed. So Chris walks in, or Barry walks in, while the snake is melting away and doesn't acknowledge it. It's like,
I
she doesn't turn and be like, "You ain't gonna fucking believe what I just did, bruv." Instead of just like,
know.
"Oh, there's a hole here. Did you not see me battling a giant?" I know it's so stupid, right? But
Yeah.
it's almost like we ends up warming our heart to a certain degree, right?
I mean, it's almost like Barry was standing outside while you're fighting the snake because actually he walks in a second after you kill it. Like, oh
he,
yeah, he's scared I can walk in.
he he opened the door and was like, "Fuck that! I ain't going in there. I'll wait." Yeah, I mean, obviously the voice acting is obviously iconically bad. I don't think that's in debate. Another really bad section of that is the Enrico part. Is that
Oh,
Enrico? Is that Jill? I mean, they're standing in front of each other.
yeah,
Oh God.
and obviously everyone obviously loves the famous Jill sandwich scene and all that. It's like come on.
But the thing is, no, but you've lost the. No, see, you've gone wrong again. See, now you're doing it from a love hate thing. I just wanted bad things, generally bad things. We're like, no,
Um,
I don't like that. So, but I'm going to talk about something that I think is good because it became one of the most iconic parts of a franchise going forward.
mhm.
The self-destruct sequence has been initiated, and the introduction of that in Resident Evil, and a timer, and it's time to leave, and that introduction is iconic.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say anything bad really because everything bad is like it's laughable and enjoyable and like nostalgia wise, you
It
know.
still comes from a nostalgic place. It is challenging. What
Yeah,
about two
yeah,
then? What
yeah.
about two though?
I mean, bad.
Tough. It's tougher with this one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, good.
I
There's
got,
so many
I
good
got,
ones.
I got one.
Mm,
What's it called it? It's too much work to do to unlock tofu, and it's shit.
okay.
There you go. No, onside that as well.
Oh,
What?
I've got something actually. I've got
Go
something.
on.
So on Claire's playthrough, when you're playing Claire, every flipping scene with Sherry, for God's sake, because she is so flipping annoying. So
I don't mind it as well. Even the parts we play as Sherry and Ada, like they're short and they have a point, so
mm,
I don't mind them, so to speak. All right, here's a weird negative one. The Resident Evil ending music has two different ending themes, and the first one you hear is not the best one. The actual best one is in the B story, so you might not hear
mm.
the best one. Talking of something good from Resident Evil, that final fucking credit song
Yeah,
is so hilarious. I just love the fact we're like, how do you want to end it? Get the guitar out, boys.
I
We're gonna rock
know.
this shit up. Oh my god. Across the franchise, Resident Evil has some of the finest music. I think it goes without saying. We're not going to get into it really, so to speak, but I just want to mention ending credit songs that Resident Evil absolutely nails. One, two, three has a brilliant piano melody. Four,
Yeah,
four has sorrow, which is iconic. All right, we have a bit of a offshoot with five and six, but Village has another banger as well,
mm.
and so does seven as well. But Resident Evil and music, Capcom were nailing that shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What
definitely.
about a
I mean,
good and a bad thing about the remake, the Resident Evil remake? So my good thing is Crimson Heads. The introduction of
yeah,
Crimson
yeah,
Head zombies added a whole new layer of terror to that game. And not having like light enough fuel to burn everybody, knowing that when you come back, it was going to be a fucking souped up zombie version. Doesn't
yeah,
fit, not really, but it was still cool. And obviously, alongside that, the extra story elements involving Lisa Trevor.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, bad. I,
Ooh.
it's difficult. I mean, the only thing I will say, and probably the ones that I've played, I don't know about the later ones, but always felt that these games were very, very short.
Yeah,
Very, very
yeah.
short ones. You know, you can complete a Resident Evil game in, I think there's
Well,
actually achievements for completing the game in like
yeah.
an hour and
Well,
57 minutes
even
or something
even
like
back then, without achievements, it was like if you complete it under 3 hours, you get the rocket launcher and unlocks and
that.
things like
Yeah,
that, and a
yeah,
closet key and things like that. I
yeah,
disagree, though. I didn't mind that because it's always encouraged multiple playthroughs, and modern Resident Evil games lean into that by adding achievements related to multiple playthroughs. I think that's a
yeah.
good thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do.
yeah, 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 true. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've come from a phase of obviously playing these games without achievements, then
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
them with achievements. So yeah,
Okay, Resident Evil 3 we'll talk about next in that regards because ultimately Resident Evil 3 is not a game I remember well. That's the truth of the matter. Because it's not really a full sequel, it's more of a side story, so to
Mhm.
speak. And that is how it is, folks, because it uses very similar visuals to Resident Evil 2. It's short as well, and really is just about the nemesis. It never stuck long in the. It never sticks as much in the memory as Resident Evil 2. Even though there's lots of elements I like, least of all the nemesis. Let's be honest, we all shitty fucking brick the first time he followed you through a door. And we're like, what the
Yep,
fuck is this? That was incredible.
yeah, yeah, following you through the door, and the fact that he doesn't just walk towards you, he charges and runs
Oh yeah.
towards you,
Or like he would take two steps and then
yeah,
just
and
stop
run.
booking it. And it's like, you fuck, you know? Plus, pouring out for Brad.
Yeah, oh yeah, 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 Paul Brad, yeah,
Yeah,
but
poor Brad. But
it,
ultimately, I don't think three is that memorable.
it's not you are right. I mean, I've completed obviously the PS1 version and I've the remastering, but again, it's the one which everyone sort of, I don't know, bypasses or skips and then goes
Yeah,
straight to
four.
four.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, the fact that Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the remake just called it Resident Evil Nemesis, dropped the three completely, you know?
yeah,
Because but we'll also throw in our other one that we played probably the most on the PlayStation 1 because this is kind of specific to us and hence this video. Resident
mm,
Evil Survivor, which was
Yeah.
a really, when this was announced and I saw this, I can't remember, it might have been in a magazine, but like a Resident Evil that was a first person shooter
Yeah.
using elements of Resident Evil 2, the zombies, the lickers. Oh my God, how cool was this?
Mhm.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my
Yeah.
God, oh my God. I have
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
killed as many tyrants in one game. Like, honestly, I have a little bit of nostalgic love for this game. Just, but oh, it's bad.
It is bad, but I remember the amount of time we put into this game because there was all different
Different
it kind
paths
of
and
yeah
endings. Yeah,
it reminded me a lot of do you remember Tenchu when they had to each level had three different
three
set
different
paths.
variations on it. Yeah,
Yeah, and that was the same as that game. If you did if you went this path one way, you unlocked a different section
different.
and another one. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
it
And
was quite
you would
clever. Yeah,
unlock a weapon at the end. Would be like handgun A, handgun B, and handgun C, and
yeah,
nonsense like that. Yeah, there was basically it had a lot of replay value, but that was because the game was like a fucking hour long.
yeah.
And when you unlocked weapons with infinite ammo, or more powerful weapons, it was a piece of piss to get through.
Yeah. Of course.
Story sucked, man. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's one of those where it's like, oh, I've lost my memory, but it turns out it's because he's a bad guy. He was actually an Umbrella operative all along. Resident Evil Zero. Good and bad thing about Resident Evil Zero. This is easy. Good. The entire train part, the entire section up until where you crash. Bad. Basically everything afterwards. I like Resident Evil Zero, but I recognize its problems. That train part is fabulous.
Mhm.
Fabulous. It's unique. It's clever, and then you just end up in a laboratory. That's basically a poor rip-off of the mansion.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, come on. And then the dropping items system, while I can see what they were, the box thing wasn't broke, guys. It wasn't broke. Don't, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So having this new system did not work. Billy, there's a reason why we've never seen Billy again in the main series. It's because he's
Yeah.
beyond boring. And there's an argument to say that this game kind of fucks up the canon of Resident Evil. I know it's all like, oh, well, she never mentioned to Chris because she wanted to protect Billy. She doesn't have to mention Billy. She could have just said, oh, but like when you, because I'm saying when you meet her in Resident Evil, then none of her reactions make sense.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, nonsensical. She deals with a leech thing and all that. I struggle with Resident Evil Zero's position in the franchise these days. Oh, you know what I wish? I think it'd be better if it wasn't canon and it was
Yeah.
just a game and it was
So,
fine.
yeah. Yeah.
You know. But on
Yeah.
that front, I love Leech Hunter. I know you hate Leech Hunter. I love Leech Hunter.
My issue, I enjoyed it until the fact that yeah, you had to get like it was like 50 of each one to get the
Yeah,
achievement or something, or
yeah,
and
which
it's
was
like
so much fun.
but it was such it was such a pain. The worst thing about the game, as you already mentioned, was the fact that you couldn't drop a certain amount of weapons in a room, and
Yeah.
that did my head in,
Yeah.
and
You just spread it like you try. I want to fill up that main
yes.
hole. So I knew where things were. Nope, can only drop like 3 or 4. I've got to then move into separate. Oh, so
you're
annoying.
you're constantly coming backwards and forwards, and
Yeah,
then in the end, I got into a habit of like leaving Rebecca at the top of the stairs or something, and then as soon as Billy walked for the door, I'll change to Rebecca, call Billy, and then we'll both go through because it
yeah,
was just so yeah, that sort of mechanics was annoying, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Plus, there was an enemy in it, so I think the achievement was for completing it without dying. There's an enemy that
Mhm.
can kill you in one. The frogs.
Oh, oh,
The
oh,
frogs.
yeah,
Which is
and
fucking.
they're so
And
right.
they're introduced at the end of the game, and you can be really unlucky in that section, run into two of them in a row, and if you're not quick enough to kill them, they will tongue you and eat you,
Yep.
or when I eventually did it, because I died several times at that part, screwing. When I eventually did it, didn't even run into one.
Mm.
Fucking
So
yeah,
it's so random. I always remember there's one by like a forklift. If you do it in a certain way, you can avoid it. But if you
yeah.
did it, if you jump down so the frog appears, yeah, I died like 3 or 4 times there.
But that train part is so fucking good. The opening
Yeah,
train section, that first hour, so good.
indeed, yeah.
Code Veronica. Even though I came to it later on, this is now up there as one of my favorite Resident Evil games.
Mhm.
I generally think this is a really cool, unique, powerful Resident Evil game. For me, I struggle to think of faults with this one. The
Mhm.
tyrant battle on the plains annoying as fuck. Um, that's
Yeah,
about
I mean, yeah. For me, it's one of my favorites, because Claire finally got her. sort of
Her
standard.
game. Kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah, a
well,
standard.
saying
Yeah,
that, she shares it with Chris again, though.
yeah, she does. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, Wesker's is like the main bad guy in this one, and I love the story. You know, the gameplay is really good. I enjoy it, and obviously, I do hope they eventually do remaster it. So,
It deserves it. It does deserve
mm,
it, and it could really, really be very, very unique and cool. So fingers crossed they do. Four. Looking at just the original Resident Evil 4. Obviously, I mean, I'm gonna go. The worst things for me was the introduction of QTEs.
mm,
But then they're not crazily excessive. Some of the fantasy elements, like fighting a troll and all of that, seem a little much, you know. And for me at the time, was quite far removed from like what I liked about Resident Evil. I've always liked the horror. I don't always like the fantasy, and even like you're fighting like a giant robotic version, like fucking and like you're fighting Doctor Robotnik, but it's Salazar and his
yeah,
giant stone version of him. That shit's a bit much, right?
yeah. I mean, when there's a lot to obviously love about four, and
Oh
then
god, it's
obviously
brilliant.
as you
It
said,
is
obviously like
brilliant.
the stupid parts, you know, like the
Mm.
as you said, the fight with Salazar in the barn, where like you blow him into pieces, and then he's like some two arms swinging from the roof and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I don't mind that because that feels like a Resident Evil bad guy, so to
Mm.
speak, like a monster. It's more when it goes like at the end, you have that assault with the helicopter and all of that, and that's like full on action. And it's a bit,
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know if I really like that. Remember, that's the stuff they would go, people really like that. Let's do that non-stop in Resident Evil 5, which would be a fucking mistake.
yeah,
Um,
cool.
but like, I still
Ashley,
love Resident Evil 4. It's a fucking great
yeah,
game.
Ashley was like just a
There you
bigger
go.
version of Sherry.
How fucking great was it when you unlocked
Oh, the armor.
the armor? Oh god, that was great. Carry away you want, boys. You're never going to be able to.
It's just the fact that there you are fighting like 10 of these cultists, and then suddenly Leon, help! It's like, for God's sake,
Man,
I'm busy.
help! They did a good job of making her less bad in the remakes. Still has
Yes, yeah,
problems, but no, she's a vast improvement.
just a bit, yeah.
What should we look at? So I know Revelations and stuff like that. We won't cover ones that you don't know. So we'll keep them
Mm.
focused on that. Well, five, Resident Evil 5. Where the hell do we start? So you and I definitely you and I even played this co-op on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah,
But there's the bad. Oh my god, there's the bad. Sheva. No, they damage his character by making the AI brain dead. To the point where you hate the character because of how brain dead that AI is.
yeah. But
Absolutely shockingly bad.
I did like so because I may be wrong, but I think this was the first time they introduced basically a two-player co-op mode
Yeah, it's the
during
first
the
time
main.
we could we could go we played it together on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, yeah. So and that was extremely enjoyable. You
Yep.
know, the co-op was enjoyable, and
Yeah.
obviously,
We had fun in the multiplayer to some degree.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But
mean,
mostly yeah, but mostly gone.
no, I was gonna say it's a very good game. I enjoyed it, and I know people have an issue with the ending, obviously with the volcano and punching big rocks with your hand and it moving and stuff like that. I get it, yes, but obviously it's
It's too
fantasy, you
much.
know. Yeah,
No, there's fantasy and then there's too much. It's what
yeah,
you call jumping the shark. It's a term called jumping the shark, and it comes from Happy Days. You know the show Happy Days? And near the
yeah,
end of Happy Days' run, the Fonz, the character, had done so many cool things that basically, and I think I'm not sure I'm saying this accurately, but basically in the episode, he not ski jumps, he water jumps,
mm,
ski jumps in in the water over an
yeah,
actual shark. And it's where the term jumping the shark comes from. It's when
yeah.
basically something has gone too far, where you've gone, nah, this isn't even believable anymore. I'm not
I
even
mean,
bothered about Chris punching a rock. Chris is all roided out, right? So fine, he wants to punch a rock. It's the fucking setting. It's an active volcano. This is absurd. It's too
yeah,
stupid. It's too much. And Resident Evil 5 pushed the limits a lot. But fucking hell, it was stupid. But good things. I mean, the setting. I love the setting of Africa. I think it's really cool and
yeah,
allows them to really come up to imaginative stuff. There are some fun action scenes. There's the one where they're all on bikes and stuff. All right, it
mm,
goes on a bit long, but it's still pretty cool. Um,
yeah.
I think there's good stuff about Resident Evil 5.
I think the whole first section of it in like the Africa slum part, I think is graphically is excellent, and like walking around the sort of villages, and it's really really cool. And then I think there's a bit where the guys with the chainsaws break through the doors and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that scene there,
all of that
which
was
is
quite
excellent.
tense. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
We should say as well, it had some DLCs that I think one of them was pretty good as well, called Hidden Nightmares. I think it was one where you play leading up to when Jill gets possessed or taken over by Wesker.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, here's an easy one then. Best and worst parts of Resident Evil fucking 6. Oh my god, every single part of the Sherry and whatever Jake fucking Mueller's campaign, you absolute melts. What an awful. Who wants to do fucking stealth? I don't care about Wesker's crappy son. Again, is a
Yeah.
reason why I've not seen a fucker since. Also, you're not going to make me cry over Piers. You're not. Sorry, Chris. I know you're sad that you lost a fucking team and you're going to cry about it. I don't care. Awful game. Awful, awful game.
No, I actually think that out of all the games I've played Resident Evil, that this is the only one I've not completed.
100% me and no, I haven't completed it
Yeah,
either. I played each campaign through,
I
and
don't
that
think
was
I did it.
it.
Not even that.
Really?
Yeah, so
Really?
I think I got to about the halfway point, and it was so bad that I just literally stopped playing it, and then that was it.
I remember the minecart sequence with Leon and Helena, because everybody gets a new partner. So it's Leon
Yeah.
and Helena and her mad sister. Then it's
Mhm.
Chris and Piers and their bromance, but they're in an action part. And then it's Sherry and Jake in a fucking whatever. And they try to sexualize Sherry as well. There's that scene in
Yeah.
the locker room. Like, come on, man. The last time we saw her, she was a fucking kid in Resident Evil 2. You ain't got. I know she's a grown woman now, but don't make it weird, you bloody weirdos.
It's what they always do, and it's like those sort of games in there.
But that's where it ends for you, isn't it? That's nuts.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Nuts.
So,
Oh, it's such a shame. I really wish we could talk a little bit more about that side of the franchise, but that's just it. It is phases. It's going to be interesting to see what comes next. But it probably is. When we talk about Silent Hill, we talked about Silent Hill's impact. But there's no, I don't think there's any game series franchise, considering how many games that have been played between us both, how far we go back, and how it continues to this day, that we're looking at a game as the time recording due out in 3 months' time, a new game in a franchise that I will be picking up and playing, and that you might eventually, but just what I'm saying, like it still continues.
do you know what I noticed about this video and about obviously the one we done last time about Silent Hill? During obviously the big question that everyone asks: Resident Evil or Silent Hill? Now, during our Silent Hill talk, we kept constantly talking about Resident Evil.
We did.
We've barely mentioned Silent Hill.
Yeah,
So I
it
think I
is.
think that I think the obvious answer is that although we love Silent Hill, Resident Evil is the one which stands out more for us.
It is. It is. If like we always put these two side by side because of the era that we'd have played
Mm.
Resident Evil and Silent Hill. But ultimately, the amount of like Resident Evil as a franchise is just bigger and a bigger deal for both of us. I think it really
Yeah,
is because we're not just talking about the games; we're also talking from a movie perspective as well, which you talked about, and other media. The fucking books, for goodness sake. The fact we've even got
yeah,
them and things like that. And this isn't ending. Like this isn't ending. I've given my worries about this upcoming Resident Evil film, but I'm still going to watch it when it comes
of
out.
course,
So
of
I'm saying, so
course.
like, yeah, and I'm gonna play Requiem, and I'm gonna keep my eye on what comes next for Resident Evil. I'm always excited about it. Yeah,
And I think I'm going to call it now. The next time we talk about doing videos at the end of the month, I will guarantee that I would have played Resident Evil 7
really.
because yeah, because do you know what, talking about it now, it makes me want to play it. So I will bite the bullet and pay the 35 quid or whatever it is because I I, I I think it's probably worth it. So I will.
It 100% is. Look for a gold edition version
Mm.
of it because it's got a load of DLC as well. A lot of DLC. The gold edition includes all the DLC as well. If you do this and start playing it, I can't wait to hear it because you are gonna fucking love Seven.
Mm.
It is so clever and unique. And well, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil it for you, but you will be hooked within the first 15 minutes. and the opening of that game, you'll be like, okay, yeah, this is going to be badass. Because you know what you'll be? You might actually be a little bit scared. Because it's horror, proper horror.
Bringing it back to how it should have been. Yeah.
There we go, folks. That's we're going to wrap it up here. I think we've gone nearly an hour and 20 minutes, so I think we can wrap this up. And that's our views on the Resident Evil franchise from our perspective, our experience of it up to this point. What's yours? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.